We've got fire backing down close to one of the structures.
Lives in danger.
We never ever expected 6,000 acres per hour.
Countless homes lost.
You've been told that it's gone, but then you don't want to believe it.
And no end in sight.
You're not even believing it's real.
Flames are bearing down on our communities, and parts of Rocky Mountain National Park are burning. Tonight's hour-long edition of Denver7 News at 6 begins right now.
And we're going to get through this together.
We have planned for the worst. This is the worst of the worst of the worst. Those are the words the sheriff of Grand County used to describe our current fire situation.
Colorado is no stranger to wildfires, but we've never had a year like this, and few stretches can compare to the last 24 hours.
Yesterday afternoon, the East Troublesome fire was something we monitored more than feared. Cameron Peak and Calwood seemed to be far and away the biggest concerns, and then the winds picked up, and first responders and homeowners were plunged into a night of horror that has now carried into a second evening.
Our team has been with you since the moment this fire got out of hand, and they're going to be with you until the moment it is under control.
They're not coming to us this half hour.
Denver7's Ivan Rodriguez begins our coverage from Granby.
Jason, the fire is now confirmed to be 170,000 acres. All day the wind hasn't let up. You can see behind me, visibility has gotten really poor. We used to be able to see the mountain and the ridge. Now you can see it's just packed in with smoke. The houses that you see right here, one gentleman told me as soon as he saw the smoke come over that ridge, he was going to head out. He's now headed out about 30 minutes ago after seeing all that smoke come in. The worry and concern here is if this wind continues and these dry conditions, this fire might just increase that much more.
Yes, that is a potential. In fact, it's predicted. As I mentioned today, we have nearly an identical condition in terms of dryness. We have actually stronger winds forecast out of the northwest.
Those strong winds making containment on some fronts even harder.
We do not have any containment across this side of the fire. We're in a point protection mode.
We've all been told we've lost everything back there, but until I see, you always have a little hope, maybe.
Marjorie Cranston heard her home may have burned because of the fire. At this stage, there isn't an exact number on how many structures may have been lost, but the skyline paints a dark picture.
And you think of the craziest things, like the Christmas presents you just bought for your grandkids and the bedrooms you prepared for them and the place. And you never think it's going to happen to you.
All day we've been seeing planes flying overhead right along the fire line and where all that smoke is. About 300 fire personnel are working to contain the flames, and a request has already been in to bring more resources to help out with this fire. I now want to bring it to my colleague Lance Hernandez. Lance, you spoke with evacuees today.
I certainly did, and they're very concerned about the wind too. As you mentioned a little bit earlier, we've seen it shift directions a few times this afternoon and early this evening. For the most of the day, it was blowing directly to the northeast, and Granby was clear. And then for a while, late this afternoon, early this evening, Granby itself was covered in smoke, and now it seems to be blowing straight east from here. People in town don't know whether to be stressed out or not. Traffic streaming out of Granby after the sheriff issued evacuation orders up the highway and pre-evacuation orders for the mountain community. Flames consuming grass and heavy timber in the mountains to the north and west. Rich and Sonia Monroe among the evacuees. They're heading to southern Colorado to stay with relatives. I asked what they're thinking about.
Fear, and thankful that my daughter and her boyfriend made it out of the home that was lost. And they definitely saw it burning. So I pray for their family and all of their loved ones. And I pray for anyone that has lost their home that we don't know.
I've never seen fire like this. I'm from Louisiana.
Jacqueline Ivanovich manages the Homestead Motel and Homestead Firewood.
We are afraid of a spark. Any little thing right now is just going to put us over the top.
Her boss, Steve Brenner, is an evacuee. He moved into his motel yesterday, not knowing if his home survived the inferno. Now he's praying the motel does.
It's everything you've been working for, so you don't want to lose everything all in one shot, but I guess it is what it is. You know, you can only hope for the best. And the Monroes were gracious enough to get out of the escape line to visit with us for a few minutes. They just asked everybody in Colorado, if at all possible, to say a prayer for Grand County tonight. Lance Hernandez, Denver7.
Lance, thank you. Rocky Mountain National Park is currently closed, and all roads into Estes Park are off limits tonight as the fire burns closer under an eerie sky. For more on that, we turn to Denver 7's Liz Gilardi in Estes Park. Liz.
Well, Jason, earlier today, the sky turned an eerie shade of dark orange. Cars were lined up trying to get out of town, and now roads are empty. All of the businesses pretty much are shut down aside from a gas station we saw that was one of the only things still open. As you mentioned, this morning, Rocky Mountain National Park announced it would not open today. Then this afternoon, we saw some voluntary evacuation zones in Estes Park turn into mandatory evacuation zones. Roads into Estes Park are closed. US 36 is only open for eastbound traffic from Estes Park to Lyons so people can get out of town. And when we stopped at the iconic Estes Park overlook, the sky was incredibly eerie, and that's when we met Trudy, who was heading home to grab a few belongings. She said earlier this week she felt the fire was a little bit more real and growing closer, and she was already thinking about what she would grab if she had to leave.
I walked through the house, I took pictures of everything, then I walked back through the house and said, what is there in this house that I would feel bad if I lost it? And there wasn't that much. The dog was at the top of the list. My husband says, what about me? And I said, well, of course you're going.
And on our way here, as soon as we got to Lyons, pieces of ash were falling from the sky. At one point, I had to wipe ash off of my face, but really that orange glow as we drove into town, just unlike anything I've ever seen. Reporting live, Liz Gilardi, Denver 7.
Really eerie. All right, Liz, thank you. So while Grand Lake evacuated, firefighters and first responders hunkered down as a line of defense. Jessica Porter with that tonight.
Are doing everything they can to protect property, but admit they don't have the resources to stop the growing East Troublesome fire. Through radio traffic and interviews, take a listen to what fire crews are going through on the ground. Deputies went door to door, urging residents to evacuate, some refusing to leave everything they've worked for.
No, spraying the house with a water hose. Okay, now you getting them out of there? I'm advising me to leave. Okay, copy. Flames are about 2 from moving up this hill towards us.
I'm here.
The Grand County Sheriff sounded shaken as he spoke to residents.
Many times when I choose to speak with you, I have a message. Tonight, I'm not even sure what those words are.
Yeah, there's a road that leads right here, boss.
Throughout the night, firefighters rescued several people who were stranded.
That's negative. We have 2 parties trapped up in that area that are sitting in the middle of the road. I have a party at 396 County Road 644. Was waiting for a ride, but it was coming from the south now. He does not have a way out. Okay, I'll take care of that one.
All while firefighters work through dangerous conditions.
Proceeding up County Road 4, we do have fire activity directly in front of us. Make it through safe if you can. If it's going to cut you off, don't do it.
We looked at every possible potential for this fire. We never ever expected 6,000 acres per hour to come upon our community.
The wildfire is so unpredictable, firefighters were concerned when they didn't hear back from crews.
Just checking on you. I copy code 4. We're off Bussy Hill. Is that good? 10-4. Just checking with me every couple of minutes.
And these firefighters truly are heroes. They expect another long night of fire growth as they hope Mother Nature will help them in the coming days. Jason.
Jessica Porter tonight, thank you so much. We will have much more coverage from the fire lines this evening and tonight on Denver 7 News at 10. But for now, we go to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson with a look at the conditions firefighters are currently facing. Mike.
They're missing out on the best part of the cold front that moved through. Our temperatures in Denver have dropped 37 degrees in the past 24 hours, but that front stalled over the Continental Divide, and just on the other side, it's windy, it's warm, it's dry. Gusts from the west now at Berthoud Pass up to nearly 40 miles per hour. This is what it looked like looking along the Continental Divide from the top of the Loveland ski area this afternoon, with the smoke clearly visible farther to the north. Now, as far as what we're going to see over the next 24 hours, that wildfire smoke is continuing to billow off of those fires, and we have poor air quality and fire weather warnings still in effect. This is the key, but it's still a couple of days away. A very strong cold front that's going to arrive this weekend. But in advance of it, over the higher elevations, still warm temperatures, especially through Saturday with gusty winds. That fire is going to continue to spread. By the time that front moves through, it is a game changer. Sharply colder. We're talking single-digit lows by Sunday night with up to a foot of snow on the fire areas, and that's going to be a huge help on putting this thing down and hopefully putting a lot of it out, but it's still several days away.
Thank you, Mike. Even Stephen King never envisioned the Stanley Hotel looking this ominous. This photo was taken today by a Forest Service employee as the hotel was being evacuated. If you're in a safe place and you have images to share, please tag us on Twitter or Facebook, or you can email us at contact7@thedenverchannel.com. Colorado's other two major fires will remain a threat until they are fully contained, and at 55%, the Cameron Peak fire is nowhere close to being fully contained. The Calwood fire is at 24% contained. Like Cameron Peak, it has taken out a number of homes and buildings. And we are going to get through this, but it's certainly going to take all of us to do it.
And if you can spare any money, we can get it to the people who need it the most. Head to thedenverchannel.com and look for the Denver7 Gives section. After that, select Wildfire Fund in the drop-down menu. Every penny will go to someone in need.
Coming up, Aurora police sound the alarm over a missing mom and kids. CU cancels spring break.
And Denver7 viewers step up in a big way.
Thank you so much